Good morning, boys and girls. I am here today to go over your reading lesson. We're going to be reading Cinderella and the Turkey Girl, and then go over the activities that you are to complete today for the stories. So I'm going to read these aloud to you. So if you would like to go get your copies of the stories, then go ahead and go do that. And I will wait for you for just a minute to do that. While you are getting your copies of the stories, I did want to notate that Cinderella is a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Brothers Grimm, they wrote lots of stories, lots of fairy tales. And this one is retold by Annika Peterson. So we are going to read this story. And again, please follow along with your copy of the story. Cinderella. Cinderella missed her real mother. Her new stepmother made Cinderella work day and night. She cleaned and cooked and cleaned some more. All the while, her two new stepsisters did nothing. At night, Cinderella slept in the cold ashes by the fireplace. The ashes and cinders made her face and clothes look dirty. This is how she came to be called Cinderella. One day her father was going to town. His new wife and stepdaughters told him to bring back fine dresses and jewels. He asked Cinderella what he might get for her. Bring back the first branch that strikes your hat on the way home, she said. Her father found this strange, but he brought her what she asked for. Cinderella planted the branch on her mother's grave. Then she cried and cried. Her many tears watered the twig. The twig is another name for branch. Branch is it's a tree branch. It grew at once into a beautiful hazel tree. A white bird sat in it. The bird told Cinderella it would grant any wish. So, boys and girls, this is, as you can see, this is not the original Cinderella that we have heard about. This is a different version of Cinderella. At that time, the king made plans for a great party. His son, the prince, would choose a bride at the party. Cinderella wanted to go, but her stepmother and stepsisters just laughed at her. You don't even have a nice dress or shoes, they said. Cinderella went to the hazel tree and made a wish. The white bird gave her a gold dress with gold slippers. Cinderella put them on and ran to the party. No one knew her in her beautiful new dress, but the prince liked her so much he would dance with no one else. And she liked him. As soon as the party ended, though, Cinderella ran away, but one of her gold slippers stuck in some mud and came off. The next day, the prince and his men searched for the owner of the gold slipper, but the slipper did not fit anyone, not even the stepsisters. The prince sadly asked, "Is there no one else?" And the family said, "Only Cinderella." Her foot fit easily into the slipper. At last the prince had found the lovely woman who had danced with him, so Cinderella would become his bride. As they rode to the castle, the white bird landed on Cinderella's shoulder. At last, all her wishes were coming true. So again, boys and girls, this is quite a different version than what we're used to. There were some similarities with the original Cinderella, but there was no fairy godmother in this one. It was a magic tree. Okay, so now we're going to read The Turkey Girl, which is a Zuni folk tale. So we're going to, as we're reading this, think about how this story is like Cinderella and how it's different than Cinderella. Long ago, there lived a poor girl who herded turkeys for a living. Every morning, she drove them out to the fields and every evening she drove them back to the safety of their cages. She treated them with great kindness, and the turkeys loved her for this. One day the girl heard some people in town talking. They wanted to go to the dance of the sacred bird. This great event happened only once a year, and it was to take place in just 4 days. "Oh, how I wish I could go," the girl said to the turkeys, "but I cannot go in such old, ugly clothes." The girl never once thought the turkeys could understand her. But on the day of the dance, one turkey stood tall and spoke. "Dear friend," he said, "we will help you go to the dance. You shall laugh and be merry. You have earned some fun." At first, the girl was shocked. Then somehow it felt right that the turkeys, her only friends, could speak. "We only ask that you come back before sunset," said the turkey. "You are the only one who keeps us safe." The turkeys then danced around the girl. They turned her old ragged clothes into a beautiful white dress. The girl thanked the turkeys again and again. She promised them she would return before sunset. Then she turned and ran down the path toward town. At the dance, no one knew the girl in her new dress. Everyone praised her beauty, and all the young men wanted to dance with her. She was having so much fun that she forgot all about her friends, the turkeys. Finally, the sun set. The turkeys wondered why the girl had not returned. "She has forgotten us," one of them said. "For that reason, we will give her no more help. Come, let us move up into the hills. Our keeper is not as kind as we had once hoped." When at last the dance ended, the girl ran back to the fields. She looked everywhere for the turkeys, but they were gone. As she stood there, sad and alone, her dress turned back into rags, she was the poor turkey girl once more. Okay, so as I was reading Boys and Girls, I noticed some similarities and some differences with the stories. So let's move on into our questions for today and see if we are going to have to come up with some similarities and differences. Okay, so the first question: what challenge does Cinderella face because of her new stepmother? So, a challenge, boys and girls, is something that is difficult to do, something that is difficult maybe to overcome, something that is hard is a challenge. So, think about what challenge Cinderella faces because of her new stepmother. Okay. Number 23. Read these sentences from paragraph 1 of Cinderella. "She cleaned and cooked and cooked and cleaned some more. All the while her two new stepsisters did nothing." Which best, as you can see, the word best is in bold, dark letters. So that means, think about, they really want you to understand that they want you to pick out the answer that is the best. So which best explains why the author repeats the words cleaned and cooked. Okay? So think about, she was doing all the work and her stepsisters were doing nothing. Number 24. What do the stepsisters think about Cinderella wanting to go to the dance? So you can go back if you're not sure and look in the text to find that answer. Go back and look and see what the stepsisters think about Cinderella wanting to go to that dance. Okay? On the next page, 25. What do we learn about Turkey Girl at the beginning of the story? So go back if you can't remember and look at the beginning of the story of the Turkey Girl to see what we learn, what you've learned about her. 26. Which sentence best tells what happens soon after Turkey Girl wishes she could go to the special dance? So think about which answer is the best, which sentence is the best that tells what happens to the turkey girl. Number 27, which sentence best tells the lesson to be learned from the turkey girl? Now remember, we talked about lessons last week, or excuse me, the week of before spring break. And a lesson is something that you learn, something that you are taught by the story. So think about what lesson the turkey girl learns from this in this story. Okay, and here's number 28. What is one way both Cinderella and Turkey Girl are alike? Okay, so remember this is comparing and contrasting. So this would be the comparing part, because when you compare two or more things, you're telling how they are alike. So tell one way, excuse me, both Turkey Girl and Cinderella are alike. Okay. And number 29, which story event is the same in Cinderella and the Turkey Girl? So here's another way that you can tell a way that they are the same or alike. Which event? Event is something that happens. What is something that happens in the story that tells how Cinderella and the Turkey Girl are alike? So I hope that you guys understand my lesson for today, and that you have, if you have any questions, feel free to contact your teacher. Have a great day.